Hello, today let's talk about Un Jardin sur le Nil from Hermès. It was the very first perfume I ever bought in my life. It was around 2008, and back then I knew absolutely nothing about the world of fragrance. But I remember loving this one, so I bought a 100ml bottle, and I finished the entire bottle very quickly. In fact, it remains one of the very few perfumes in my life that I have actually used up a full bottle. And later, as I became more and more interested in fragrance, I started buying more and more perfume, and gradually Un Jardin sur le Nil was pushed to the back of my memory. A few days ago, I happened to come across a travel size bottle, and after all these years smelling it again, I still feel that even in 2026, it remains a masterpiece in my heart. The most fascinating thing about Un Jardin sur le Nil is not that it is refreshing, but the way it handles the idea of elsewhere. Its name is grand, right? The Nile, Egypt, river, garden, and about travel. When these words are placed together, they can easily create a very large-scale imagination. But when GCE created this fragrance for Hermès in 2005, he did not turn this place into a postcard of a landscape. Instead, he chose a very small point of entry, which is this green mango. And when you first spray this fragrance, there is a very clear green mango impression. It is not soft. It is not honeyed tropical fruit. It feels more like a fruit still hanging on the tree. Its flesh still firm, its skin still tight, its sweetness pushed far into the background. What you smell first is tartness, grainness, and the feeling of plant sap left on your fingers after your nail has scratched open the peel. And then you will get the river-like quality of the Nile in this fragrance. And the river-like quality here does not come from the surface of the water itself, but from the plants along the riverbank. Water is not an object being looked at, and here it is more like a sense of humidity, something held in the air that makes the fruit peel and the leaves glimmer. You may not literally smell water, but you can smell the things that only grow where water exists, like lotus. The plants, lotus, the grain that slowly emerge afterward are not there to turn the perfume into a floral fragrance. They are more like additions that complete the outline of a riverbank. Stems, damp leaf surfaces, and a green shadow touched by moisture. And this is not a lush flower garden. It is a garden you can walk into, one garden that can wet the soles of your shoes and leaves the scent of plants on your hands. This brings us to an interesting question about travel fragrances. When a perfume names itself after a distant place, how should it treat that distance? Many travel narratives contain a kind of tourist gaze. Before we visit a place, we often already know what we are supposed to see. In Paris, we should see the Eiffel Tower. In Egypt, the pyramids. And sometimes travel is not about saying freely, but about confirming an image that was prepared in advance. I have finally arrived at the place I have already seen countless times in photographs. And what makes Un Jardin sur le Nil interesting is that, of course, it is also a travel fragrance created by a French luxury house, and it cannot completely escape imagination, but it does not choose the greatest symbols. It does not turn the Nile into a grand civilizational landscape. It pushes the camera closer, close enough to the skin of a green mango. The choice feels very GCE because when a place moves from panoramic distance to close range, the mode of perception changes. You're no longer standing on a boat, on a viewing platform, or at a safe distance looking at a scenery. You being part of the picture, you begin to touch with your hands, smell with your nose, and feel humidity with your skin. The Nile in this fragrance works exactly like this. Tart grain peel, a slight floral presence, a little waterside wood, and a very faint sense of smoke. And the green mango here is not just a note to me, it is the philosophy of the entire perfume. It has not yet entered labels like sweet and tropical. It preserves the vitality of the plant itself. This also makes me think of travel souvenirs. After traveling, we bring back things like postcards, shells, stones, magnets, a bottle of perfume bought locally. The function of a souvenir is never to reproduce a place in a panoramic way. It cannot bring back an entire city, an entire river, or an entire summer. It can only preserve a fragment. But often it is precisely through that fragment that an experience reopens. To me, this fragrance turns the Nile from a famous river, from a worldly famous symbol, into a grain, tart, humid experience with a slight woody shadow. When you smell it, you may not immediately think of Egypt, but you feel as if you are standing somewhere with water nearby, plants beside you, bright air around you, the smell of fruit peel on your fingers, and time slowing down just a little. That is what I find most precious about Un Jardin sur le Nil. It does not make the distance more distant. Instead, it brings distance very close to your body, close to the skin, close to the hand. And to me, the most moving thing about Un Jardin sur le Nil is that it does not understand travel as the possession of elsewhere. It does not say, I have bought the Nile back. It is more like saying, I once came close to a place, and that place passed through my body in a very small way. Sometimes elsewhere is only an inexplicable sensory detail, and perhaps the smell of one green mango is enough. And that's my reflection on Un Jardin sur le Nil. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.